and welcome to Algebra Examples. I'm Dr. Finch. Today we're going to look at an example where we are finding zeros and we are going to give the multiplicity of each of them. So there are two big definitions here that we're going to be working with. If you know what those definitions are, your solutions are going to be pretty straightforward. We notice that our function here is already factored out for us, so we don't have to do any factoring to find our zeros. Technically, what we do is when we have a function and we're looking for zeros, we are setting our function equal to 0, and then we figure out what x values are going to work for that. And remember, if 0 is equal to two things that are multiplied by each other, then 0 is equal to one of them, or 0 is equal to the other of them. And this works if you add more things to your multiplication. Let's say we did a multiply by c. We would also have a 0 is equal to c as a third solution. So the same thing, that's why we factor things out. We're going to have four parts to this. We have our first factor, our second factor, our third factor, and our fourth factor. And as we multiplied this all out, this would be a disastrous polynomial of immense proportions. So thank goodness we don't have to do that. We're going to take our first factor, x minus 5, and set that equal to 0. We solve, that gives us x is equal to 5. That is going to be our 0. And then we're going to have our multiplicities, which I'm going to just abbreviate. And I'm going to use the letter M. Your teacher may prefer you to do something different for multiplicities. Multiplicities means how many times does that solution actually pop up? In other words, what's the exponent of that particular factor? In this case, our exponent is 13. So our first solution is going to be x is equal to 5 with multiplicity 13. For our second solution, we have x plus 2 is equal to 0. We're going to solve that. So we are going to get x is equal to negative 2. And again, for multiplicity, we look at that exponent. How many times does that particular factor pop up? And that factor comes up 4 times. So there's our second solution. Our third one, x plus 9 is equal to 0. We solve. X is equal to negative 9. And our multiplicity, again, here is 2 as the exponent. So this only pops twice. Our last factor, x minus 1, is equal to 0. We solve it, we get x is equal to a positive 1. And for our multiplicity, we end up with a multiplicity of 7. So those are the solutions to this particular problem. I know that some of this may not seem super important at this time, but this does affect, if you go further in math, how you work through problems, and is very important in the long run, which is why your teachers teach it to you right now. Thank you for listening.